Welcome to the D-Tools webinar designed for our international customers. Once again, my name is Jeff. Today we're going to be reviewing the D-Tools program designed for system integration, and we're really designed for anything in the low voltage market. That could be AV, control automation, security, lighting control, anything low voltage essentially. What we'll do today is show you the value of the system. Now, what D-Tools does, we've been doing this for a little over 16 years now, and we integrate the proposal and estimating side of the business, also system design and engineering, and also the scheduling and installation side as well too, all into one program. So what you'll see today is how we can make your business more efficient and save you time and reduce errors on projects. So to get started, the main screen that you see here is the home page. This is the screen that you see here inside the D-Tools system when you first launch it up. The way you navigate through the system is through a Start tab, and we'll go through some of these areas here within the software today. We certainly won't go through everything in full detail. We do provide additional webinars and videos online for more detail in certain areas, but today it's designed to be more of a general overview. So a good place to start is the Setup tab. The Setup tab is literally the first thing you do as a new user. We store, of course, basic information like company info can be stored here inside the system. You can also set up multiple user accounts within the program as well, too. And you can also set permission rights for each user as well. The licensing is all based on the number of concurrent users, and you can install it on as many computers as you like. We also have an area for storing your labor rates. You can set these up with multiple phases or fixes, and you can store things like your average cost per hour, average selling price per hour in here as well too. And this will come into play a little bit later on as we go through the software in more detail. This does allow you to accurately track labor charges for projects and also track labor margins as well too. So just want to show you the setup area. So any of the default settings are located here, and we may come back to this area a bit throughout the meeting. So the next major step here inside the system to talk about is the catalog. So D-Tools system is all centralized around a database where you can store your products and packages here in the program, and we'll talk about those in just a few minutes. A good place to start, though, when talking about the database is how you get products in the system. We do have a very large library that you can access here. This is called our D-Tools data browser. We've got over 1 million products total that you have access to download here within the system. And we just list the manufacturers here on the left-hand side. So you'll see a various list of brands ranging from anything, like I said, from AV all the way down to IT. And some of the manufacturers you'll see in the list have a green icon. So those manufacturers are D-Tools partners. So those manufacturers actually help contribute to the database and keep their product lines up to date. Those items are always free, and you do get free updates on those items as well too. We do have a full list of those brands on our website at d-tools.com if you'd like to see which brands are included for free and see what's in the database. Now, the items you see here in red, these are all manufacturers that are a part of our data subscription program. So unfortunately, we wish every manufacturer was participating and help keeping the items up to date, but unfortunately they're not. So what we do is we go out, get the data, add the data on a regular basis. As a part of this program, if you do sign up for this, it's just a nominal monthly or annual fee, and that gives you access to all of the brands you see here in red. And you can also make requests as well too. So if there's ever an item you need that's not in the library, simply go to the data request button, let us know what you need. Now you can always create your own products as well too. So keep in mind if you need an item that's not in the library, you're not relying on us. You can certainly build your own items. And those will in turn build products that you can use for proposals or quotes. And also you can use those same items for doing drawings in Visio or AutoCAD, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. To kind of show you how the download area works, though, let's go to a manufacturer here. And you can see we'll go to download products. Now some brands we have the Crestron, like Crestron International, so these are for products outside the U.S. or North America. So we do have those product lines here. And you can see all the products available for download. Now to narrow it down, you can also use the categories on the left-hand side. This will reduce the amount of products that you see here based on those categories. You can also use the search bar at the top to find the items you want. So you can download as many items as you want. The whole idea is to build your personalized database with just the products that you sell and use. Now once the items are downloaded, they get put into what's called the catalog. So we'll go here to the catalog here, and let's go to the products section. So only your products that you download or create will be stored here inside the catalog. I'll show you a quick example of what an item looks like, just so you know the type of detail that we track. Let's go pull up just a product here. So we track some basic information, of course, manufacturer, model number, categories, and also an image, which you can always add and change yourself as well too. And we do use those images for various things throughout the system, such as on the proposals and also some of the simple line drawings in the program. Description, so you've got your short and long description. Once again, you can always edit that or add to it, and also put this in multiple languages as well too if you'd like. Pricing information is stored in here as well too. Now, when it comes to pricing, MSRP is really the only pricing field that we'll ever have, and sometimes we won't even have that. It just depends on if the manufacturer shares that information. And cost will always be blank, and selling price will always be blank. So you would need to set up your specific cost that you get from your distributor or manufacturer, and you can also, of course, set your own selling price. Now, we do have ways of getting that set up to make it much easier than typing it in one at a time, so don't worry, there are several tools available for doing this. You can import Excel price lists into the system, and you can also use what's called price rules. So we have this formulas you can set up and save for different manufacturers or vendors, and you can say things like my cost is MSRP minus 40% or 20%. So a couple tools to make that easy. And those can be applied across multiple products at a time, so once again, you can quickly get your pricing set up and managed. We also do give you up to 12 price types here. You can call these whatever you like, and those are easily set up here inside the software. Now, this is just the pricing component. We also do calculate labor, and how we do that is we have a number of hours assigned to the products. So this is a industry average time, and you can, of course, set this to your own time or preferences as well, too. So what we do is we take those number of hours, and we multiply that by your labor rates. So going back to those labor rates we saw earlier, you'll see that does calculate a total install price of your parts price, your labor calculations, and you can even build in things like design labor as well, too, and any taxes or VAT can be calculated as well. We do track additional details like specifications, so height, width, and depth here. Now, this is tracked for doing rack drawings, so we can do scaled rack layouts or cabinet layouts inside the system, so we do utilize those dimensions for that. And we also do have fields for power and heat management as well, too. There's also some rack load reports you can get based off that data. Inputs and outputs, so we store this for doing schematics or wiring diagrams, and this really speeds up the process for doing a wiring layout. Now, what's really nice about this, we also auto-generate cable schedules or wire checklists for you based off your drawings. We even create wire labels for you automatically based off the cables that are in the project. And this is very easy to edit, so if you ever want to create your own product or edit the information, it's literally just a drag and drop interface, and you can create your own custom IOs here on products. Last major field here too to show you is accessories. Now, accessories are a place where you can store any additional products or labor that are needed. So things like power supplies, mounts, cables, brackets, all those can be added in here to save yourself time when building the project. So you're getting reminded or prompted for other items that you might need. This also is great because it does eliminate errors. Everyone from time to time makes a mistake and misses a part or piece. So this does help eliminate that issue as well too by always reminding you or prompting you for any required items or even optional items that you may want to consider for this project. So that's just a basic run through of an individual item here in the database. And we can take this a step further. So this is just an individual item. You can also go into the detail of building packages. Packages are basically pre-built systems or assemblies you can do. That could be something as small as a play package. It could be something as detailed as something like this teleconference cart package here. So it consists of multiple parts and pieces. We've got a cart, rack, TV, camera for teleconference. So instead of recreating that every single time, we can actually pre-build it, save it, and reuse that over and over again. You can also build packages too as you're building a project. So if you ever put together a system, like it, and want to save it for a future project, you can always build those as well too on the fly. So just a nice little thing here. And you can also organize those packages into folders for easy access as well. So that's just a quick run through our database. So once again, you can download products from our library. You can create your own items as well too. And we have a lot of great tools for importing pricing in the system and managing that. Now, one thing to note on the pricing side of things, you'll see throughout the webinar that my pricing is set in US dollars. That's just where I'm located. The pricing, the currency settings all happen automatically. So when you install the software, it looks at where you're located, it applies the appropriate currency, and you can always go back and change that if you want to. And it also applies other things too, such as the unit of measurement units. So mine will be in US, you'll see inches and feet. Yours, of course, will be in meters and centimeters and things like that as well too, if you're not on that system. So that's all automated, so keep in mind, you may see those things as we go through the webinar, but that does automatically get set within the program. So now that we've seen the data and how that works, let's actually put together a project to show you how you build a project in our system. So we'll go here to New Project. And the first step here for the new project wizard is to actually put in some basic details for the project. Now, first thing is client name. We do have a client and contact database within the system, and you can import from programs such as Outlook, an Excel spreadsheet, or even QuickBooks as well too. We'll go in, we can choose a customer here. I'm just going to choose a company name here, or customer name. Now, once again, I said you can create new ones as you go. So we'll come in here and we'll call this webinar as our project name. Project number auto creates, and you can set up that formatting if you'd like. You can also choose your price level, so if you set those up, you can select those, and also dates as well too can be set for starting and ending the project. We go through, we have a site address and also a billing address, and any of these details I'm going through here, we can always customize and change later as well too. So if you don't know the information, just skip it. You can always come back later. Taxes and VAT can be set here for the project, and we do have a place where you can store different tax rates in a table of taxes within the system. Project resources, if there's anyone within your company you want to assign to the project, just an optional thing here. You can come in and choose who's doing what here on the project, and they get assigned here. Also, there may be some additional contacts for the project. This could be like an architect, general contractor, builder. You can add them in here as well too. Puts all their contact details and all the appropriate documents here throughout the system to save yourself time. We also give you the ability to create a scope of work for the project. So this is a written description of what's included or not included here with the project. Now, to speed this portion of it up, we give you a database that you can set up here. So if you're doing, let's say, like a lighting control, a security system, voice video data, you can add this stuff in here, and this will drop your descriptions in. And these can be saved and set up in any language that you want. And very easy to create. If you type something you want to save or copy and paste something in here you want to save, you just highlight it, hit new snippet, put a name, you can even organize it into a folder, and now that's there for future use. Then we get into locations. So one of the options we have is when you're building a project, you can assign your equipment to locations. Now, this really saves a lot of time on the installation side of things. You get things like equipment list by room, wire checklist, even wire labels with room names on them. It's also convenient if you are using the system for doing proposals or estimating. You can show the customer the equipment room by room with pricing per room. So it does really organize everything from start to finish, and it takes just a moment to set that up. So we'll come in, let's add some locations. Now you can type in locations. You can also pull from a list of common room location names that you use. Once again, this can be in multiple languages or any language that you want. This is fully customizable. So we'll come in, let's do maybe a building here, maybe a first and second floor. Now our system does work equally as well for residential and commercial projects, so you can use them for either one. And I'm just going to do a quick, we'll do a quick commercial project here today. Like I said, can be used either way. Now, what I've done is I've selected some floors. Now I'm going to go and add some rooms to this building. So I'm going to put maybe an AV closet in here, maybe a conference room. We'll go down, maybe add a few other things like a hallway, a couple offices here. Just something very simple for us to use. This information can always be moved around. You can always rename those. And you can even go as detailed as adding racks to a location. So if you do have multiple racks going in an area, sometimes it will help if you identify those as well too, just to kind of make it clear what's in each rack. Next, we'll get into what's called systems. So we also give you the option to organize the equipment by system. You can, of course, if you don't want to set this, you can skip this as well too, just like all the other fields here. We'll come in, choose which one we want, and we'll add those in. So those will show up there. Then next we get into contract percentages. So we can generate a contract for the customer so know exactly what payments are due and when. And you can set this up and assign dates here as well too. This will generate on a contract for you. And lastly, custom fields. So we give you 10 fields you can customize here and put whatever fields you want, just for tracking additional notes or keeping additional details here on the project. So we'll save this here. So now our project's set up, and we can now start building our equipment list here. Now, there are two ways of going about starting a project in D-Tools. You can start by building your equipment list, which essentially gets you your quotation or your proposal here inside the system. And later, we can drag and drop that equipment to a drawing page in Visio or AutoCAD. Now, the other option that's really unique to our system is the ability to actually start with the drawing. So if you wanted to do a floor plan layout, do a rack drawing, do a schematic, or even just a simple line drawing, based off that drawing, it will actually build the quote or the proposal for you, and all your other documents like wire labels, wire checklist, cost reports, all that's done from doing the drawing. So if you're more of a visual person, that gives you a great advantage. You can start with the drawing and build everything as you go instead of having to do double entry or double work. I'm going to show you a little bit of both of how it works. We'll start by putting a few parts here in an equipment list. I'll show you what the reports look like, and then we'll take this to a drawing. And when we get to the drawing side, I'll actually add some new equipment to the drawing just so you see how it works if you did want to start with the drawing first, which is a popular option. So on the left-hand side here, just kind of show you what we've got here in this window. This is showing you your databases. So you've got your product database here. You also have packages as well, too, you can pull from. At the top, we've got a ribbon layout here. So this just organizes all the options here for the project. You can see if you want to run reports, you can go to the Reports tab, change the layouts, things like that here. Now, all the rooms that we've set up is located here on the right. So you can see your room names, your system names here. All these windows can also be resized to your preferences if you'd like. So let's go ahead and start adding some equipment here to our project and show you how this works. So a couple different ways of adding the equipment. I personally like to use the search option because it's very easy to find items this way. You can just type in a model number. So if I type in that model number, the item we saw earlier, immediately brings up our matches here. And then on the right-hand side, we can choose where the item's going to go. We'll say Rack 1, part of our distributed audio system, and we'll drag and drop this into the project. Now, if you recall, the item had accessories that we saw earlier, so this is the prompt that you get. So it's asking if we want to include the vent panel and also additional hour programming. Now, if you don't need the item or one of the items here, you can always just deselect it. You can also change your quantities here as well, too. We'll go ahead and just add that vent panel in with it here. So it adds the item in here. We can see in Rack 1, there's our total price and our equipment here inside the project. And to get your next item, pretty simple. Just go back over here to the left and start searching. Now, if you don't have all the model numbers memorized, which I know not all of us do, you can just come in and type in keywords. So if you're looking for a speaker, once again, if you've changed descriptions or anything in the database, this will search based off the language you've set as well too. So it is a global search on the fields here. I type in the word speaker, shows me all my speaker options. And if you know you've got a brand preference, you can type in like JBL here. This will narrow it down for you as well. You can type in things like ceiling mount, floor mount, or wall mount, I should say, and you can choose those as well. There's also a quantity option, so you can drop 2 per room if you want. And on the right, once again, you can select your locations. Now, the good thing about this is you can select more than one location. So instead of having to go into each room one at a time, I can just select all 4 locations and drop 2 speakers across all 4 locations. This prompted me for my accessories, so a backhand here and a cable for the item. So this will add 1 cable per speaker that I'm adding to the project. Now, when speakers being added, if it's a bulk cable, something that we cut to length or sold on a spool or box, you can set things like your wire length. So this would be in meters for most of you, so you can go in and change that if you want to. You can also adjust your head-in location. So we can say it's coming from Rack 1, and this will give us some nice detailed reports later on as well. Okay. So a lot just happened there. I'll move this out of the way here so you can see it a little easier. So we can see all of our equipment here in the project. All the items in blue, you can set a color code preference for that. Those are just the accessories, so we kind of note those clearly for you. And all the pricings here in the project. Now, once the equipment's in this list, at any point you can run a report on it. So if I'd like to go up to the Reports tab, there's different report options we have. We organize them into client, installation, and management reports. Now, client reports can be several different things. You can do just a contract. You can do a proposal template. You can also build proposal groups as well, too, or report groups in general. Let's say if I want to do just a simple proposal with images by location. You select that option here, and this will actually generate the proposal with images here for us, and it's going to organize it by location. Now, you can change this image here on the front page to whatever you like, and of course your company logo shows up here. And this just shows us a very simple room-by-room breakdown of what's inside the project with pricing and details. Now, there's a lot of customization you can do here. You can set whatever graphics you want here in the software. You can also hide details. So if you want to hide the model numbers of the equipment, if you want to hide the individual prices, or even the summary pricing per location, you can do that with a few clicks inside the system. So that's a built-in setting. And at the very bottom, we have an equipment, labor, tax, grand total. This also, once again, the names can be relabeled very easily in the software with our report settings. This whole layout, too, can be changed as well. We do have a built-in report designer, so if you have an existing template that you like and prefer, you can recreate that in our system to help automate it. All the documents, too, can be sent to PDF. You've got your RTF or Word option, HTML, Excel. You can also email this out via Outlook as a PDF as well, too, from the system. Like I said, you can also create report groups as well. So if you find yourself, having a certain layout that you like to use, you can actually merge multiple reports together and create packages or lists of the reports here. So I'll just run this to kind of show you what this looks like. So we've got a cover page, scope of work here, and then just once again shows us a room-by-room breakdown here of what's in the project, and then the contract as well if you want to show that. Of course, you can set the terms and conditions here. We can show a phase or fixed breakdown, even a payment schedule as well, too, if you'd like. And once again, a place for the customer to sign off. So everything's there. So fully customizable on the client reports. Installation report-wise, we do have different label machines we work with, Brother, Rhino, and Dymo labeling systems. Also, wire labels that can be run through just a standard printer, just like a sheet-fed labels if you'd like. There's also wire checklist and connection reports too, which we'll take a look at in just a moment once we get into the drawing side. Now, management reports, there's various management reports. So if you want to see your cost and profitability, you can just come in and run this. So this, for a lot of people, gives them a lot of visibility that you don't normally get. Oftentimes, we don't know exactly what our profit margins are, what our costs are before we hand the quote off to the customer. So this gives us a quick way of taking a look at our estimated parts and labor, profit, and cost information. If we see anything we don't like, we can go back and make those adjustments. And if you're in that position, too, where you've got several projects, you're trying to choose which one to take on if you can't take them all, this also gives you a great way of seeing which one's going to be the most profitable for you as well. Also, other reports in here too, equipment list, and also project hour reports. So it does give you all your information here, the total number of equipment, how many meters of cable that we need for the project. And also just some other reports here too, like a project summary. So it gives us a nice little summary of all the totals here in the project, including how many hours we're looking at to install this system. So just a quick look at our reporting. Once again, all fully customizable, lots of settings that you can change. So if you don't like anything about the reports, you can certainly modify those. And last thing before we leave this area, you can, of course, adjust your pricing. So all the pricing we did add to the project can be changed. You can simply just click on this, change the pricing. This does show you immediately your margin and markup calculations, and you can always adjust your pricing based off that if you want to. You can set highlight the whole project, set a flat profit margin and markup as well too. You can also make adjustments to labor as well. So if you want to increase your labor time for a particular device, you can do that. And you can always do a global change as well too. So if you want to increase all of your labor to account for a difficult project, you can increase that by 25, 50%, whatever rate you want. So that's our estimating tool here inside the system. Basically how you can quickly build your equipment list, track your costs, set your pricing here for the project. So what we'll do now is we'll actually move on to the drawing side of the system. So we're going to take everything we've done here and actually build a drawing from this. Let's close this out here. Now, there's our project we've created. Now, what we're going to do next is go in and start building a drawing. Now, when you're building a drawing, you can do that in Visio and or AutoCAD. We do work with both systems equally, so you could actually use Visio and AutoCAD on the same project, and they're all linked together to the same equipment list. So if you remove equipment from an AutoCAD drawing that you've produced, it does remove it from the Visio drawing, so it is all connected. So you can choose your preference. I'll show you Visio. We'll maybe touch on AutoCAD a little bit as well too. Visio tends to be the more popular option with our system, but certainly works well in both. So let's go in to do a Visio drawing here. And what we're going to do is choose a template size or paper size. So these are some stock options. You can also set up your own as well too. This does work natively in Visio and AutoCAD, so if you are using either program, the good news is it's not going to be a completely different drawing tool. We're just going to be enhancing what you're already using. We're going to make them both a true drag and drop engineering tool. So first thing that opens up is you've got your equipment list here on the left. So this is the same interface we were just working with. We also on the right have our drawing page here. Now, two windows open up. You can do a split screen like I'm doing now. You can also dock these on individual monitors, which does give you a little more viewing area for both windows here. Now, to kind of zoom in on the drawing, we start you off with a template here. And let's go ahead and remove this grid so you can see a little better. And you can set up your logo, your company name, all your dates, and also project information, addresses for the customer site, also page number. That's all automated. Now, within our drawing system, we do 4 types of drawings. We do line drawings, elevation drawings, plan drawings, and schematics, which are the tabs you'll see here at the bottom. I'll give you a quick example of each just so you know what they look like and how they work here in the program. So we'll move this over to the right here. Now, what we're going to do is, since we've already started a project, we've got equipment in it, all we got to do now is just drag and drop equipment from this list onto the drawing page. I'm going to select my amplifier here. I'm just going to drag and drop this onto the line drawing. Now, on the line drawing page, this will bring out the image of the device. So it's designed to be a real simple, high-level concept drawing, certainly the most basic of the drawings we do. Now, we'll choose a speaker and a cable here. Let's drag those both out here on the page. Kind of show you what this looks like. You can place this where you want them to go. And as you can see, you can bring out multiple devices at a time here, so you don't have to do them one at a time. I could bring all those speakers out at once here. But to keep it simple, we'll just show you one little connection. So you can see your device, you can see how it's connected, shows the type of cable we're using. If you click on the cable, it is not just a line here in Visio. It's actually linked to an actual product. So it does have pricing and labor associated with it here inside the system. So very simple, quick line drawing if you want to give your customer a quick concept of how this system is going to look or work. Then next we'll move into the elevation view. So elevation view is where you do things like rack or cabinet drawings or anything you may want to show on a wall. So let's go ahead and add some racks. Now, we didn't put a rack in our quote or estimate earlier, so this is how you can actually add things to a drawing and your equipment list all at the same time. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to choose where the equipment's going to go. We'll put it in rack 1 and rack 2 since we're going to put racks in. You can also pick a system here as well too if you want. It's up to you, whatever system you want to use here. And we'll come over here to the left. And we'll choose, I'll just type in a model number here. We'll do like a rack here. So we choose this rack and we drag and drop this onto the page. Now this added 2 racks because we did have rack 1 and 2 locations selected. So now here in our equipment list, we can now see that the racks have been added to the rack 1 and 2 location. So once again, the equipment pricing and the labor has been added here to the project. Now we just simply drag and drop the equipment onto the page. Now it knows we're doing a rack drawing, so it does bring out the appropriate shape here for doing a rack layout. You can just snap this where you want it to go. You can see the front view of the item. Very detailed as well. You can also hide things like the feet on the item. Just right click, remove that. You can also show rack ears as well too, if it's not quite enough, wide enough to snap into the rack. Even all the accessories, vent panels, shelves, drawers can also be displayed and shown here inside the system as well. So you can do a very quick scaled rack drawing here inside the system, make sure everything fits properly, and you can't make a mistake. This is locked down and it is based on the actual dimensions. So what you see is what you're going to get when you go to install it. The third type here is called plan views. This is where you can do a floor plan layout. So we'll come in. Let's go to insert. Your insert options is a picture, an AutoCAD drawing, or a PDF. So this is for Visio. And of course, if you're using the AutoCAD interface, you could just drop your AutoCAD file right into AutoCAD as well too there. Let's do an AutoCAD drawing here. Now you don't have to have AutoCAD to do this. So for anyone out there that does not have AutoCAD already, you don't have to have that to insert a CAD drawing here into Visio. Now, when you insert a floor plan in, like this was a residential plan I inserted, if I want to remove the room names here, because we're going to pretend this is an office building, we'll just come down here and you can turn layers on and off here. I'm going to remove the room names here. There we go. So we can just come over here and drag and drop equipment onto the page. Now, I'll just take this speaker, drop it on. Here it is. And I can also bring out the associated cable with it as well, too. we go. So this adds everything here to the project. Now, if the cable is ever attached to something on the other end, like it was attached to the amplifier on the other page, it does bring out the other device. I'm going to just remove that for now. Don't have to show those on both ends there. And I'll come over here to my speaker. I'm just going to connect my cable up to it. All the wire details are here for us. Let me just show you this a little clearer. So you can see your wire number, the model number. The wire number does create based off your preferences, so however you like to do it, we've got different options there for that. The other end of the cable here too also tells us where this cable is going to on the other end, so you can see that very clearly. A lot of other automated things we do here, you can also set your wire color preferences. So if you want audio to be blue, video to be red, that can happen automatically. You can also set color preferences or even fill the items on the drawing. So if you want to show these speakers as a particular part of a zone or system, you can just simply right-click, choose a color, and set it there. So lots of things here that happen automatically. Everything rotates with it as well too. So we've had a lot of custom things here too to make drawings a lot easier. So that's your floor plan layout. So we do have all of, got the various floor plan icons in there, also symbol legends that you can put on the drawing page or on the cover page as well too. And last but not least, we do have a schematic drawing. So if you want to get into the detail of how the system's wired up, this is how you do it. So we'll drag and drop the product out here. There we go. And what we're going to do is we'll take our cable, snap this up where we want it to go, and you can also come over here and select your speaker. And to kind of show you this here, we'll zoom in a bit, and we'll just take this and connect this up. So everything is very clearly labeled. You can see the location of the speaker here. You also, moving over here to the left, you can see your wire number. You can see the input and output that the cable is connected to. You can easily change that. Now this does produce a wire schedule automatically based off these connections. So as you're doing this drawing, there's a lot of reporting and labeling and stuff that's happening in the background based off what you do. So just take this, place this where you want, and then I can go get another device and drag and drop, add this here onto the page. We've also added some additional features here too to make changes quick. If you want to show, the labeling here on both ends or all three areas, you can do that. You can also, quickly change what information shows here in the middle as well too. So that's all customizable. We've even added a feature where if you've got a device with a lot of inputs and outputs, you don't want to show all of the inputs and outputs to save space here, you can just right-click and remove any inputs and outputs you're not using. So on our schematic or our drawing page here, this, like I mentioned before, does generate a wire schedule for us. So kind of show you what that looks like here. So we can see the audio one's coming from the R5 or the right 5 here. We'll go to our reports tab, installation. We'll just pull a quick wire connection sheet. So this is our wire connection sheet. Now this is, once again, like all the other reports, fully customizable. And we see here just the one cable we've connected, the audio one. You can see the device is coming from, the output, the to device, the input. Everything, once again, has clearly labeled with the IDs on each item, which match up with all the drawings that we've done here as well, too. Now, everything we've changed here in the project or added to the project is changed here in the equipment list. Now, making changes, having it all integrated together does make changes very fast and easy. So if I wanted to make a change to this drawing or this project, in most cases, if you're doing drawings and estimating separately, you would have to change one product at least 2, 3, maybe 4 times depending on your process. So every time you change it, that's additional time that you put into the project. It also opens up the room for error. So chances are someone's going to make a mistake at some point when a change happens if you've got it in several different places. Our system, it's all linked to the same database. To show you how easy it is, if I need to make a change to this project, I can just click on the item. Now you can double click on it to see the details. I'm just going to right click here. We'll do D-Tools and we'll do replace product. Now this brings up your database. Now you can quickly narrow it down. If I want another amplifier, we'll do that. I'll come down the list here, pick a different brand here. It doesn't matter. We're just going to swap it out with something to show you how it works. So by making that change here, this does change the device here on the drawing page. Now since it is a new device, I would need to reconnect it to the correct output. But any other drawings I've done, like my rack drawing, this is now swapped out here, so I can see that it's been changed in the rack. And this is also a good point when since the items are to scale, you can see the items just floating in the rack. So we need to add a rack shelf or rack kit to this. I actually had one as an accessory, so it makes it very easy. I can just take this rack shelf, place this where I want it to go, and then place the device here on the rack where I want. So there you go. And then our line drawing also been updated as well too. And of course our equipment list has changed as well, so I don't have to go back and make any updates to any reports throughout the system. So your cable list, your proposals, equipment list, all that has changed. To show you that, let's just go back here to the proposal with images, and I'll just do this by system here real quick, just to give you a different view. There we go. So we'll open this up. So we'll now see the device has changed here. This is an example of a report where I've got the model numbers and the line item pricing turned off. So you can see you can hide those details if you want. You could even show various types of labor here at the bottom as well. So that's the drawing side of things. So it's all drag and drop, very easy. We have the shapes and the icons in there. You just lay this out onto the page. Even if you create your own products, we do have what we call smart shapes in here, where they create shapes here inside of Visio. Same thing's true with AutoCAD as well too. So it gives you an idea here of how the system works on the drawing side of things. So we'll go ahead and close this out. As I mentioned, we do work with AutoCAD, so just for any AutoCAD users, I'll just pull up one drawing type here to kind of show you how that works. So it does work with AutoCAD. As of right now, AutoCAD 2010 and newer, full version. We'll open up CAD here. AutoCAD takes a little longer to open up, so we'll give it a second here to warm up here. And like I said before, you are working natively in AutoCAD, so anything you produce is in DWG format here. And so if you are using AutoCAD now, then this will just be an enhancement to how you do things currently. So do a quick layout here. Won't do anything detailed, but just want to show you how it works, and then it's very similar to what we just went through here. So we've got our equipment list here on the left. We've got our drawing page on the right, just like before. I'll kind of move this over just a bit so you can see it. And what I'm going to do is just choose a couple devices. So let's do speaker, cable, and an amp. Go. So we drop this out. Now, when you bring this out here, you can move your blocks around where you want them to go. A little bit different detail between Visio and AutoCAD, just how they're set up, but once again, it's still drag and drop. We'll connect these items up. So green cable means it is actively connected on both ends. Now, this does once again produce a wire schedule, and for any AutoCAD users who really like this feature, we've got it where cables are now snap and locked down to the block. So if you move the block around, the cable does follow it. So may not seem like that big of a deal, but if you've got a drawing with hundreds of cables laid out and you need to move a device around, in a regular AutoCAD, you're having to redraw all of those lines. So very, very time consuming, definitely not a good use of your time. So with our system, you just simply move the blocks around, the cables do follow it, like you saw in the Visio interface. So that does work here in AutoCAD and is another one of the many great ways that we've enhanced AutoCAD drawing in the system. So I just want to show you that. So like I said, we can also do floor plan layouts, of course, rack drawings inside of AutoCAD, and even simple block diagrams as well too. Now that we've seen the drawing side, really the last major thing to show you here in the system is actually how we can help with the installation process. So we'll open this up. Now, before we get into the installation process, one thing to note, our system does also allow you to do change orders and revisions, so we do have a whole process for that. Makes it very easy. You can just simply update the equipment list or the drawings, and you can issue a change order showing exactly what's been added, what's been removed, and you can always have a customer sign off on that. And we do keep track of all those revisions as well too, so you can always go back and access those. Now, I've got my project here. Let's go and just do a quick install schedule here. And we have a thing called Scheduling Editor. This allows us to go in and create a work order or task here for the system. We'll just start one here. So we'll put in a task name, and you can call this whatever you want. Maybe we'll say we're going to install speakers here. You can come in and choose the items that you want to install. So you can add your products and labor in here if you'd like. This shows us all of the equipment here inside of the project. Now you can use the filters to narrow this down if you like. So if you use the filters, you can come in and say, okay, show me just the equipment in the conference room and the hallway. So you can narrow it down like that. You can also choose a phase or fix as well as, types of equipment. So just we'll just add what I've narrowed this down to here. So it tells us how much time it's going to take, about 4 hours to install. We can go back to our resources here. So this is our team members here, our colleagues. We can choose who's doing the installation. We'll assign it to John. You can also apply these hours to the individual or multiple people at a time. Now from here, you can see we've got our project scheduled. Now there's a place for actual hours, so that can always be entered later as well too for job costing. And what we're going to do now is we can run the reports. Now if you are using Outlook, you can save a few steps by using the Outlook interface. You can email this out, create an appointment, or create a task. Now with this, I can choose any documents that I want to send out. I'll select attach here. This will now open up here, and we'll bring this over to the screen so you can see it. So it's already pretty much all filled out, ready to go. We've got this addressed to the technician, the subject here, the location, all the details of the project are here, including a Google Maps link if you want to get driving directions or find the location. And some of the documents that are in here, and once again, these are all customizable as well. You've got an equipment list. This shows us what needs to be taken out to the job site so we don't miss anything or forget anything. So we can check off everything that we need. We also have a install sheet. So this has two purposes. This can be used as a timesheet as well as gives us a nice list to reference, make sure that everything gets installed that we brought to the job site. So you can make notes and things here as well. And then lastly, we have a ship list. So if you want to review this with the customer, show them what was delivered or installed, they can sign off on this, just acknowledging that they received the equipment. So there's no questions or issues later about whether they did get the products or not. So that's just a few of our reports. There's several more, and you can always create your own as well too. You can send this out here via Outlook. And this also produces a Gantt chart that you can see here within the system. You can always move the dates around too, and this will update the task. And we also do have a built-in calendar inside the system as well. So you can go into the calendar here, and you can see your calendar or the team calendar. And this looks very much like Outlook. So if you've used Outlook or have used Outlook, you'll see this is pretty familiar. You can see your individual calendars here on a day, week, or month basis. You can also organize them by task and service orders. So we also do service orders in our system. If you want to, someone calls up, needs something replaced or repaired, we also have a way of doing those without having to create a project. So you can quickly get those up, dispatch those as well to your technicians. You can also see everyone's calendar here in one by doing the merge as well too. So that's a little bit on the calendar side of things. So we do have some features in there for scheduling and install as well. And one last thing to really point out here before we wrap up today, we do have a new feature that we've just started. It's called Mobile Quotes. We have an iPad app that will be released here in just a few weeks. And this will be released in sometime in late March 2014 as of right now. So with this, you can actually build out in the field with the iPad. You could start a project, put your contact details in. You can build a quick budgetary number or quote or estimate right there with the customer. You can add locations. You can take pictures of locations. You can review the numbers with the customer. It does calculate labor as well. And the customer can even sign off on the estimate. And that estimate then can be, or that quote can be imported right into our system. So this can be transferred right into the software. And then from that you've built here on your iPad, you can actually create a project from it. So this is a brand new feature that we're excited about, and this will make things a little faster and easier if you'd like to start and build your projects or quotes right there at the job site with the customer, or if you just want to get things started while you're on the go as well too. So look out for that in the next month or so, and that's a new enhancement here to the D-Tools system as well. So that concludes our overview today. Gives you an idea of how we can help automate your processes and save time with the estimation, design, and installation of your systems. We do have additional webinars available, as I mentioned, for different aspects of the software. So if you'd like to see more, feel free to go to our website, d-tools.com, or you can always reach out to us. Our sales team will be happy to do an online demonstration for you, a personal webinar as well too, and answer any specific questions that you have. You can reach us at sales@d-tools.com, or you can go to our website and contact us through the website as well too. And if there's, like I said, anything else you need, please feel free to reach out. Thanks a lot for your time today, and we look forward to working with you and assisting you with your projects.